The town of Silent Hollow was shrouded in an eerie stillness. Fog clung to the crooked Victorian houses like ghostly fingers. The silence was broken only by the creaking of signs in the wind. In the heart of this unsettling town stood Bartholomew's Emporium of Curios. It was a place forgotten by time. Dust-covered relics lined the shelves, whispering forgotten stories. The air was thick with the scent of decay and the weight of ages. Thomas, a young man with an insatiable curiosity, wandered into the shop. He was drawn to the unusual and the macabre. He ran his fingers over a chipped porcelain doll, its painted eyes seemingly following him. His gaze then fell upon a magnificent mirror, its ornate frame crafted from tarnished silver. It stood at the back of the shop, shrouded in shadow. An inexplicable pull drew him towards it. Thomas ran a hand over the cold glass. He felt a sudden chill. A strange energy seemed to pulsate from the mirror's depths. He dismissed it as a trick of the light and his own overactive imagination. The shopkeeper, a stooped figure with eyes like polished stones, watched him silently. "Interested in that piece, are you?" he rasped, his voice hoarse as if unused for decades. Thomas brought the mirror home that night. He hung it in his bedroom, captivated by its antique beauty. As he gazed into its depths, he noticed something odd. His reflection was not quite right. It flickered, a fleeting distortion that sent a shiver down his spine. He convinced himself it was just a flaw in the old glass. He turned in for the night, dismissing the unsettling feeling that gnawed at him. That night, Thomas awoke to a cold sweat. A soft scratching sound emanated from the mirror. He sat up, heart pounding. In the dim moonlight, he saw a figure taking shape within the mirror. It was a gaunt, shadowy form with eyes that burned like embers. Thomas watched in terror as the figure seemed to reach out from the mirror. Its skeletal fingers scraped against the glass. Night after night, the horrifying encounters continued. The figure grew stronger, its presence more pronounced. Thomas was tormented by nightmares. He woke up each morning drained and terrified. The mirror that once fascinated him now filled him with dread. He tried to cover it with a sheet, but the scratching sounds continued, louder and more insistent. Desperation clawed at Thomas. He decided to get rid of the mirror. He carried it down to the basement, intending to smash it. However, as he approached the basement stairs, he felt an unseen force push him back. He stumbled and fell, the mirror crashing beside him. The glass remained intact. It seemed to mock his futile attempt to escape its hold. The figure in the mirror was almost fully formed now. It stood close to the surface, its malevolent gaze fixed on Thomas. One night, as Thomas lay paralyzed by fear, he saw something terrifying. The figure moved. It pressed its hand against the glass. The mirror rippled like water. Terror choked Thomas. He was trapped, a prisoner in his own home. The figure stepped out of the mirror. It moved with an eerie grace, its skeletal fingers trailing along the wall. Thomas scrambled back, his eyes wide with terror. The figure spoke, its voice a hollow whisper that chilled him to the bone. "You cannot escape," it hissed. "This mirror is now your prison, just as it was mine." Thomas's blood ran cold. He was trapped in a nightmare with no escape. The creature advanced, its glowing eyes burning into his soul. Thomas cowered, his back against the wall. He closed his eyes, bracing for the inevitable. He felt a cold, skeletal hand grip his arm. His scream echoed in the silence of the room. Suddenly, he was blinded by a flash of light. He opened his eyes, his body trembling. He was inside the mirror. He looked out and saw his own terrified reflection staring back at him. The creature stood outside the mirror, its eyes gleaming with triumph. He watched in horror as the creature, now free from its mirrored prison, turned and walked away. Thomas hammered against the cold, reflective surface. His desperate cries were met with silence. The figure was gone, lost in the shadows of the room. But Thomas knew the creature was out there, free to wreak havoc on the world. He was trapped in the mirror, his reflection a mockery of his former life. He was alone, imprisoned in a world of reflections, with no way to escape. The mirror, once an object of fascination, was now his tomb. And the creature he had unwittingly released roamed free. Thomas's cries for help echoed only within the confines of his mirrored prison. He was forgotten, lost in a world of reflections, his fate sealed by the haunted mirror.